Once upon a time, in a quaint little town nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a family with a secret so scandalous it threatened to uproot their very existence. The family was composed of Alex, the eldest son, his wife Sarah, and their younger brother Thomas, who had recently married his love, Emily. Alex and Sarah were the proud parents of 2 children, while Thomas and Emily were still basking in the newlywed glow, navigating the early days of their marriage with a mix of excitement and trepidation. On the surface, the family presented a picture of domestic bliss, but behind closed doors, things were not as they seemed. Emily, the sister-in-law, was a woman of quiet charm and grace. She was admired by all who knew her for her kindness and gentle spirit. Thomas, her brother-in-law, was a man of few words, but with a heart of gold. Together, they were the perfect match, or so it seemed to the outside world. However, as time passed, rumors began to circulate about an illicit affair between Emily and Thomas. The whispers were hushed, for such a thing was unimaginable in their tight-knit community. But as the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. One stormy night, the truth finally came to light. Alex, the eldest son, stumbled upon evidence that could not be ignored. A series of passionate love letters exchanged between Emily and Thomas. The very foundations of his family were shaken to the core. The revelation was like a poison that seeped into every corner of their lives, infecting relationships and tearing apart the fabric of trust. Alex was torn between the love he had for his brother and the betrayal he felt as a husband. Sarah, who had been Emily's closest confidant, was consumed by a mixture of anger and heartbreak. Thomas and Emily, once the darlings of the family, were now outcasts in their own home. The once happy couple was forced to confront the consequences of their actions, which had divided the family and put their future in jeopardy. As the dust settled, the family found themselves at a crossroads. Could they find it within themselves to forgive? Could Thomas and Emily rebuild the trust they had shattered? Or would the secret forever taint? The days that followed were like a fog, thick and suffocating, as the family grappled with the revelation of Emily and Thomas's affair. Alex, once the pillar of strength, was reduced to a shell of his former self, his eyes haunted by the ghost of his brother's betrayal. Sarah, her heart in pieces, struggled to reconcile her love for Emily with the pain of her husband's infidelity. Thomas and Emily, once carefree and in love, now walked on eggshells, their every move scrutinized under the weight of the family's judgment. They begged for forgiveness, their pleas falling on deaf ears as the family retreated into a cocoon of silence and resentment. In the midst of this turmoil, the children were the innocent victims, their laughter echoing through the house like a distant memory. Alex and Sarah were torn between their duty as parents and the searing pain of their personal tragedy. Days turned into weeks, and the family found themselves at a crossroads. The path to forgiveness was a treacherous one, riddled with landmines of resentment and the constant threat of relapse into old wounds. It was a turning point when Alex, in a moment of clarity, realized that the affair, while a grave sin, was not the end of the world. He knew that if he wanted to preserve his family, he must extend an olive branch, however shaky, to Thomas and Emily. Sarah, though deeply hurt, found solace in the thought that love, true love, was not something that could be switched off with the flip of a switch. If there was a spark of affection left for Thomas and Emily, she had to believe that it could be reignited no matter how dim it may seem. The process was slow and arduous, marked by countless awkward silences and stilted conversations. But as the family began to open up, they discovered that the bonds that had once held them together were not as fragile as they feared. Emily and Thomas worked tirelessly to prove their remorse, to show that their love for each other was not a betrayal of family, but a force that could, in time, mend the broken ties. They sought counseling, both individually and as a couple, and were determined to make amends. Months passed, and the family found themselves on the other side. As the family continued to navigate the treacherous waters of forgiveness, they began to understand that the path to healing was not a straight line, but a winding road, fraught with challenges and setbacks. Emily and Thomas became poster children for atonement, their every action a testament to their desire to rebuild the trust they had shattered. Sarah, with a heart that had been stretched to its limits, found herself in a strange limbo, caught between the love she had for her brother-in-law and the hurt he had caused. Alex, too, found it difficult to let go of the past, but he knew that for the sake of his family, he must try. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, the children remained a beacon of hope, their innocence a reminder that love was still very much alive in their household. It was their laughter, their hugs, and their unconditional acceptance that slowly began to thaw the frozen hearts within the family. The process was not easy. There were moments when the pain would resurface, when old wounds would bleed anew. But each time, the family would gather around the dinner table, their clumsy attempts at conversation giving way to a semblance of normality. Emily and Thomas became the quiet strength in the family, their actions speaking louder than words. They took on more responsibilities, going out of their way to show that they were committed to making things right. Sarah, with a newfound sense of resilience, began to see that forgiveness was not about forgetting, but about finding a way to move forward. She started to understand that love, even after betrayal, could be stronger than the pain. Alex, the patriarch of the family, realized that it was not just his own heart that needed mending, but the heart of his family. He stepped up as a leader, guiding them through the murky waters of forgiveness with a steady hand. As the seasons changed, so did the family. They learned to communicate better, to express their feelings without fear of judgment. They laughed together, cried together, and slowly but surely, they began to heal. One day, as the sun set over the whispering woods, the family gathered on the porch, their arms wrapped around each other. They looked out at the horizon, a symbol of the future that stretched before them, and they knew that no matter what lay ahead, in the months that followed, the family continued to rebuild their bond, stronger and more resilient than before. Emily and Thomas became the embodiment of redemption, their story a cautionary tale and a hopeful lesson all at once. Sarah and Alex found solace in the knowledge that their marriage, though tested, was enduring. They grew closer, not just as husband and wife, but as partners who had shared the burden of betrayal and emerged on the other side, their love tempered by fire. The children, oblivious to the intricacies of adult relationships, simply enjoyed the renewed attention and love from their extended family. They were the innocent beneficiaries of a transformation that was both painful and profound. As the family healed, they found themselves leaning into each other for support. They shared their fears, their hopes, and their dreams, creating a tapestry of shared experiences that bound them together in a way no secret could ever tear apart. Emily and Thomas became the bridge between the old and the new, their love a symbol of the family's ability to forgive and to grow. They learned that love, true love, was not something that could be taken lightly, but rather a responsibility that required patience, understanding, and a willingness to face the toughest of truths. The family's journey was not unique. It was a story that played out in homes across the world, a tale of human frailty and the indomitable spirit of the heart. They had learned that love was not blind, but rather it was a choice to see beyond the mistakes and into the very core of who a person was. As the years passed, the family grew closer, their bond unbreakable. They celebrated milestones together, supported each other through tough times, and found joy in the simple act of being a family. The once scandalous secret became a part of their collective past, a reminder of how far they had come and how strong they had become. They understood that love was not a perfect thing, but it was the most perfect thing they had. In the end, it was not the absence of flaws that defined the family, but the presence of love that conquered all. They were a family, bound by blood and by choice, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of forgiveness.
Please subscribe to my channel Lessons of Life and press the bell notification icon.